Welcome to the Craftsman Cafe. I'm Jim Connell and I'm here with Cathy and Kim from Divorce Communications. It's an awesome platform, web-based platform, national platform. Their offices are in downtown Libertyville. And I was fascinated by this service that they offer. I think it's really, really important. And a mutual friend introduced us to each other, and I just said, we got to interview you and tell more people about this. So without further ado, first, thanks very much for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Cathy, when we were talking offline, you were telling me a story about growing up, and that was one of the drivers for you, your experience as a kid, as far as creating divorce communication. So tell us that story a little bit.
Well, my parents divorced when I was 7 years old. And being the oldest of three, I was put in the middle a lot between my mom and my dad, who weren't very communicative. So a lot of times my dad would give me the child support check and say, go give it to your mom. And then my mom would say, well, tell your dad he owes me this. So I was put in the middle a lot. And I always grew up thinking there's got to be something that changes. Something has to change to take the kids out of the middle. And then I got divorced, and my kids were about 8 and 7. And I didn't want to put them in the middle, and I figured maybe we can come up with something different to take the kids out of the middle.
Yep.
And that's when we started talking about divorce communications.
It's awesome. So, Kim, you grew up in Lake County. You're an LHS grad?
Correct. I grew up in Libertyville.
Right. And tell us a little bit about your background, your professional background, and how you were inspired to team up with Cathy and start this business.
Sure. Well, I'm a psychologist, and for years I've worked with children, adolescents, families, and couples. And one of the themes that I began seeing in my work was the impact of, frankly, conflict and divorce on children, adolescents, and families. Mm-hmm. And so part of it was people would get stuck. They get stuck in this negative communication pattern. They get stuck with this antagonistic kind of feeling towards each other, and the kids would be caught right smack dab in the middle. And so the kids would not really get this normal, if you will, childhood. They wouldn't be able to really focus necessarily on what's going on in school and normal stressors that kids face. Oh, does Johnny like me? Will Julie play with me after school today? Instead it was, oh, I'm going to have soccer practice and our mom and dad going to have an argument or fight over who pays for my soccer equipment or the registration fees. And, oh, I've got to go visit dad today. And am I going to get bombarded with questions when I get home from mom? So the whole purpose behind Divorce Communications is that we're not only a website, but we're a resource center. And we're really there to help people move forward in life after they separate or divorce. Because you don't have to have been married to use Divorce Communications. You could have never been married, have kids, and still use our service.
Sure. Talk a little bit about this aspect of the resource center that insinuates that you have more than just a website, you said.
Right.
So tell us a little bit more about what that is.
Well, we're launching a new look, and if you go to divorcecommunications.com, we have the functional website, which is a communication tool. So the platform allows you through a mailroom, calendar, money matters, and third-party access to have safe, simple, secure communications between your children and the ex-partner.
Okay.
But some of the other things we're doing that we're really excited for and we're launching are webinars. So we're going to start off with monthly webinars. So the webinars will be short, but they'll be informative. So on various topics. The first one we have ready to roll is about just legal terms. Some of the legal terms that you're going to hear and what it means. But we'll do various webinars as a resource, articles that we'll have in there that people can click on a topic and pull up an article and read that. We also have My Pocket Divorce Coach, which is a way for people to have a divorce coach, which is a master's level or above professional. And it really is practical advice from your mobile device. So basically what it is you can be sitting in your living room, going through a separation, feeling down, and you can set up all online a personal one-to-one session with My Pocket Divorce Coach.
Okay.
And from the comfort of your couch, you can talk to an objective professional who can help you move forward. So again, the resources are designed to not only have a platform for people to communicate and pull the children out of the middle,
Right.
but also to kind of start getting some ground underneath their feet to move forward and not remain stuck in the process that sometimes happens with separation or divorce.
That's a great tool. A couple things. You mentioned stress with the kids, and I've always, I have 3 daughters, and kids go through a lot on their best day.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I know both of you have a background in serving young as well as parents, but also youth. And can you talk a little bit about that stress level? I think about my kids and they're stressed out about homework. I mean, do we need to raise the awareness of the fact that they are dealing with these types of stress on their best day in a high functioning, healthy family unit? I mean, I don't know. I always ask myself a question of, what is she going through?
Right.
I think of all the teen stuff and the high school stuff, but I guess I'm a little disconnected from sort of the medical, for lack of a better term, the medical aspect of stress. I don't know what I'm trying to ask, but I think you feel what I'm saying.
Right, for sure. I mean, so think about even the lower grades, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. The normal stressors those kids are going to face, which is peer group, a lot of stuff around peers.
Okay.
Do I have friends when I'm at school? Are they talking to me? Oh, this was my friend and now they're not talking to me and they're not my friend anymore. When I go out for recess on the playground, are there other kids I'm interacting with? Education, just it's younger and younger. You're seeing kids now where the stress level, especially here on the North Shore, is just ridiculous at some point.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane in terms of the level of competitiveness and the amount of pressure some of these kids in the normal families are feeling to perform at such a high level. And then, you have add in extracurricular activities, sports, summer camp. These are things kids are thinking about. Now take a kid and put them in a situation where there's high conflict. And so one of the things we know from the research is kids react negatively to high conflict. Whether the parents remain married or divorce and separate, it doesn't matter. If the kids are in a high conflict environment, no matter whether they're married or divorced, that's what stresses the kids out and pushes it over the edge.
Okay.
There's also been some really cool research that shows how the chemicals, how our neurochemical transmitters actually change with prolonged high levels of stress.
Okay.
And they've been doing some cool research in Chicago on kids who are growing up in impoverished areas with violence all around them.
Wow.
And so what that does to change the neurochemistry because of the high levels of stress. It's the same for people, our service members that go into combat.
Wow. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
there's
That
a
makes sense.
whole lot of stuff that kind of flows from conflict.
So it's a natural kind of common sense idea of divorce communications is saying we can control the communication aspect and we can make it better. That's the least we can do because all this other shit is going on.
Right,
Quite
right.
frankly,
Right.
it's so that's really cool. Can you talk a little bit, because I know you work with youth in some cases, or you have in the past, Cathy, is that correct?
I do work with kids.
Talk a little bit about that, because I think it's a fascinating topic. I mean, what have you seen, and what do you have any stories to share that?
I work with kids in the community going through crisis. And I think a lot of times what I do see is a lot of kids getting nervous when their parents are divorced. My mom's moving out, my dad's moving out. It does stress them out. It stresses them out like crazy. But because the parents are going through so much, they don't think about what the kids are going through. So they're so focused on themselves that the kids are kind of sitting there trying to figure it out for themselves. And I think that's what happens a lot of times is we forget about what's happening to the kids because we're so involved in our own emotions and how to deal with it.
Right, and you've got jobs to hold down and
Right.
performance to, back to that achievement thing. We, especially North Shore, where to me it's sort of on the one hand, I love it. On the other hand, I can't stand it. Of we're amongst all these achievers, and it's like, can we just relax?
Yeah.
All right, take a breath.
Take a breath.
Take a breath.
Do we
Yeah.
have to achieve at the highest level and everything?
It's
I mean,
not
one
that
would.
serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Not all
Right.
aspects of life are
Right.
that serious.
Correct.
So, who's using the platform now? Do you have any short stories that you can share? Success stories? How long have you been doing this? What's coming down the pike? Is the mobile app up and running now?
So the mobile app will be up and running hopefully within the next couple of months.
Okay,
We're getting a facelift to the website, which should launch actually at the end of this week.
great.
So we should have our new look up and running. My Pocket Divorce Coach is already up and running. We have our blog where people can write in and ask Dr. DCOM. So people who are going through a separation or divorce can send us a question and we'll answer it on the blog. We also
Fantastic.
put up various resources on the blog.
Great. Tell us a little bit about the mechanics of how it works. Get into the nuts and bolts of it, Cathy, as far as I'm on the website. Am I paying a monthly fee? How does it work?
Yes, you do. You first get to try it out. And we offer it to the military and first responders for free.
Oh, wow.
That's a service that we provide to give back to them for all that they do for us.
That's great.
And there's different levels. And I think, to put it very simply, mom and dad sign up for the website. They link accounts. Then they're able to communicate. And everything is date and time stamped. So there's no, I never got that email, I didn't know I was supposed to pick up Johnny. There's none of that. Everything is there forever. You can never delete it. The calendar keeps track of everything from visitation to Johnny's soccer game to everything.
Okay.
And then the last thing is the money matters, in which you can send a receipt to your ex. They can pay it in stages. It keeps track of all the money. That way there's no questions. And then the third party access is to grant to a counselor, a mediator, anybody that you want to kind of look in and see what's going on.
Okay. That's
And
pretty
the
much.
third-party access, given what I do, I use it a lot with individuals or couples who have been divorced because it can focus your session. So instead of having, whether you're a mediator working with a couple or an individual therapist working with just one person, if people are using divorce communications, if you have your clients using divorce communications, you now have an objective platform that you begin your session. And the first 5 minutes, if somebody brings up, oh, we had this incident over ballet, the therapist or mediator can review it and look at the communication. And voila, now we have a focus for session. Now I can say to you, hey, Jim, listen, what do you see in that communication you sent to your ex-wife
right.
regarding ballet? How could this have been worded differently? You know, and now we have a practical platform. So instead of it just kind of being this free-floating thing, it's a way to really focus people on, let's look at your communication style. What can you change? What was the content of what you were trying to convey, and can you see how it might have come across a little bit differently than what you were trying to say? So it's a really nice objective tool for therapists, mediators, anybody, school counselors, I mean, anybody who's working with kids or the family.
Can you just give them access?
That's
Is
free.
there-
That's
okay,
free.
That's great.
You're right.
You know, it reminds me of, since I'm a music geek, I was talking to a buddy of mine. We were watching the Beatles' Let It Be session, you know, the rooftop session, and they were recording all that, and the group was falling apart. So George brought in Billy Preston. And when George was interviewed about, you know, he played with them in the, you know, prior to that. But he said, why did you bring Billy in? And he said, I brought Billy in because we're on better behavior when there's a guest in the room. And very
you have it.
English
That's
of
good,
them,
yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
he said, we brought him in literally because I knew that we would all be on a better behavior. So it sounds like, I mean, this is probably a stretch, but the platform itself
Absolutely.
provides
Yep.
that guest in the room where it's like, okay, when I'm communicating with my ex-partner, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and try and be
Absolutely.
effective. So just by the nature of the platform.
Yes, I couldn't have put it
think
better.
so.
And we'll
Right.
use that example, actually. So thanks. But we couldn't have put it better, right? Because the objectivity, like Cathy said, it's date and time stamped. Once you send a message, you can't take it back. So if you're saying to your ex, you're not getting another dime because I hate your guts, that's going to be there.
Public. It's
It's
in
there.
a way public.
It's
Yes,
there.
it is.
Yeah, because
And your ex can grant third-party access. So if it's a lawyer or a judge or a mediator or a therapist, whomever, and say, look, the other thing is that, you know, one of the populations we developed this for was people who experience intimate partner violence, domestic violence situations. So, you know, communication, there can be a lot of, with the tone. So if we're talking on via the cell, where were you? Or I'm just calling about visitation. The tone can convey, a menacing tone can be used, for example.
Okay.
To convey, you better look out if you're not pleasing me or engaging in behavior I'm happy with. And really for people who have experienced domestic violence, putting all communications through divorce communications provides the objectivity, and now we've taken away the tone.
Yeah.
And we've also kind of set up a way that the perpetrator of the violence can be policed if need be. Plus, the mailroom can be set up for the children. So if the children are being used by the abuser to try to get to, it's usually the woman, so I'm going to say the mother, which is frequently the case in domestic violence situations.
Right.
So that's usually what happens, right? Now we've kind of taken that piece out. It's no longer there. And so again, all the communications with the kids, so it relieves the pressure off the kids as well.
Yeah.
If the communications are being monitored and dad is saying something super inappropriate or grilling the kid for information about mom, is your mom dating again? Who's she seeing? Where was she at 9 p.m.? I didn't see her car in the driveway, da, 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 da. That can end. There can be a stop to that.
Got it.
Right.
And from the date and time stamp thing makes it admissible in court, right?
Yes.
The information that's there. So you also help people that may be thinking of divorce avoid it, right?
For sure.
In your practices, that's what you do.
Right. Right, we're not proponents of divorce, so we're not saying, everybody break up and separate. There's a new life out there for you. Leave your spouse, leave your partner. We're not proponents of divorce. Divorce communications is there as a tool to make it a smoother process if that happens to occur, if that is the eventual outcome. But Cathy and I both work with people, and through my pocket divorce coach, and through face-to-face sessions I work with couples all the time, trying to improve communication and hopefully salvage a relationship where people can reverse negative communication patterns, reduce the conflict going on, and stay together.
Yeah.
That's the goal we have, actually.
Right. No, that's great. Why did you choose Libertyville? Your office is in Libertyville now. What's your address?
711 North Milwaukee Avenue,
Okay.
Libertyville.
Okay. Why did you choose this location? It just
Cheap rent.
cheaper.
We like
Hey, that's a
Libertyville.
damn good reason.
Cheap rent in a downtown location. It's nice to have it in a downtown location.
So
It is.
you're hanging around. You're from Cleveland?
No, I'm from Homewood, Flossmoor area, south side of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Southern
My fault.
suburbs.
Okay,
That's
southern
okay.
suburbs. So you're hanging around the family then. Your last name is Kick, and there's tons of
Yes,
guys
right. I did a sabbatical and lived in the city for a while. And
You
came
did?
Back.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's nice to be in downtown Libertyville, though. I mean, the community has grown, and it's a pretty vibrant downtown area.
Yeah.
So it's nice. We wanted people to be able to see that we're there. It's conveniently located. So the visibility is nice.
So I'll put you on the spot. Where do you like to eat lunch the most? We've got all these fantastic restaurants around. Where do you guys?
So I like the green room downtown.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I really
George
like
is a
the-
big fan of the green
I
room.
see, yeah, I do. I like the green room.
How about
That's
you, Kim?
good. I like the green room.
Yeah.
I like the green room probably. Where else do we eat? We
eat
kind of-
everywhere, right?
Yeah, we do.
We go to,
do.
we'll just when we get sick of eating there, we'll go to every restaurant
Yeah.
downtown, but
Cool.
yeah.
Well, good luck with everything, and thank you so much for taking the time to
Thanks for
explain
having
it.
us.
I
Thanks for
think
having us.
I think the tool is wonderful. I know it's a hard topic for people to talk about, but man, oh man, I think using that platform, control what we can control, right? And make it better for the kids. There's so much, when you two talk about taking the kids out of the middle, it just really, I mean, who's not affected by divorce?
Right.
I mean, no one that I know. And just making that communication, facilitating that, making it better, and having the impact that you do on the kids. God bless you for that.
Thank you.
So thank you
Thanks.
for
Thank you.
doing
Thanks for having
that,
us.
and great,
Thank you.
great to see
It
you
was
again.
Great,
fun.
thank you.
Thank you.
Talk
Thank
to you
you.
guys soon. That's a wrap, George.